Hi everybody, welcome back to another crafting with me, Avivah, your art director at the Ed Asner Family Center. Today we are making something you guys all know and love. Hopefully you've made it earlier in your childhood, but we're bringing it back. It was a very popular 90s craft, but we are making it by hand today with commonly used items around your house, making it easier for you so you don't have to go out or even order stuff online, because if you're a regular crafter, you should have most of these items already at home. But as you can see, today we are making Chia pets. They're so cute, great for your windowsill. And here I have my examples. I made a dude, I made a rabbit, and I made a cat. And as you can see, no grass is growing out of them yet. But when like about a week or two comes around, they will have a very cool hairdo or very fluffy fur for our animal creatures here. So we are going to start off with our materials, but before we start, just make sure that you have a good spot to put these in when they're done. Make sure you have a nice sunny spot indoors so they don't get overheated outside or dry out too quickly with our lovely weather that we've been having. But make sure you have a great windowsill ready to go, cleared out for your new little buds that we're going to be making here today. Okay, you are going to be needing for this project potting soil, grass seeds, clover seeds will also work, but they're a little bit thicker once they grow out, so you would need to cut a little hole in the top for those. I think grass seeds work the best because they really come through our thin hose, which is our next material that we're going to be needing. So go into your closet. Maybe you have a pair of tights that are a little bit too worn. Maybe they have too many holes in them. But the best kind of tights are ones that are thin. They're super thin. They're not those thick ballet tights that you usually wear. And I'm using a nude pair today, so I really like seeing the soil on the inside, making it a little bit iridescent. But black also works too. Any color works, really. This one is super, you can make it as individual as you like. Purple tights, go for it, you know. All right, so for our next material, you're gonna obviously need scissors, like always, pipe cleaners, or any other decorations that you wanna use. I'm using pipe cleaners today, and googly eyes. You're going to be needing a tiny pot, a shallow bowl, or you can use a plastic cup and cut off the edges like we'll be doing later on. Stones for the water drainage, and some glue. So when it comes down to glue for this project, it depends on what you have. If you are lucky enough to have a hot glue gun at home, have a friend, a buddy, a helper come and help you with your hot glue gun. I personally think hot glue works so much better with this project because as you water your plants, that Elmer's glue might start to kind of wither away. And if you want to make your Chia pet very sturdy, I suggest using a hot glue gun. But if all you have is Elmer's glue, that'll work too. They'll still last. So that's about it for materials. So let's just get started, okay? So now, clearing your space, making sure that you have room for your hands. I'm moving my hot glue gun out of the way. And we are going to get started. So, clear space. You are going to start off with your hose. Get your tights out, ready to go. And I suggest starting at the toe. So you are going to be giving it a little bit of a stretch. And you can eyeball it or get a ruler out. It depends how big you want your Chia pet to be. So if you want your Chia pet to be on the smaller side, about like this hand palm size, you want to go for about, let's say 4 inches here. around that long, 4 inches. But if you want a larger size chia pet that's about this size, I'd say add on a few inches, go about like 6 inches. That would work perfectly fine. So I'm gonna do a larger size chia pet for you guys today. And I'm gonna go with that 6-inch mark. So I'm gonna just eyeball it here. And I'm gonna just cut a straight line across. And if you have a whole pair of tights that you are using, you can make several chia pets with one pair of tights, Just make sure you section off 6 inches, 4 inches, whatever you like throughout your tights. I'm gonna move this out of the way because we're only making one for now. So, I personally like using the bottoms the best, so you have that flat head on the top where the little toe part is. And what you are going to do is just to begin to stretch out your tights, you're going to stick your hand in there and just really spread out that fabric. Put a second hand in there too. Really just get it started. All right. Now that we have started that off, our tights are a little bit more stretched out, I am going to be coming in and taking my cup, okay? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm taking my tights, putting it inside my cup, and folding those edges over the sides. And this is a much easier way of starting to be able to put your soil in there. So you don't have to have one hand holding the tights, another hand putting the soil in. You got 2 hands free to just go for it, okay? So I'm gonna move that out of the way, and I'm going to make my soil seed mixture. So I am taking my potting mix, and make sure you are outdoors, or if you have a tray underneath you, make sure you have a clean space ready to go, and a space that is okay if it gets a little bit dirty, okay? So I've cut open into my soil, and I am pouring about, well, I'd say about 4 cups of soil, okay? You're gonna do 2 parts soil and 1 part seeds, okay? So I'm doing about 4 cups. All right, now you've got your soil ready to go. You are going to take your grass seeds and pour in about half the amount of seeds, about half the amount of soil. I'm confusing myself. Pour in a good amount of seeds. You really don't have to be accurate with this. I don't know why I'm pretending like you need to be accurate with this. It's really just the more seeds you have, the more hairy your chia pet will be. As simple as that. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Actually, I want a super hairy chia pet. And so now that I have my mixture here, I'm going to be taking my hands and just tossing that together, really making sure that your soil and seeds are mixed up. All right, I got my mixture ready to go. Brushing my hands and bringing that cup back over to your work spot. Now, I'm using one hand to hold my tights around my cup, and my other hand to start filling up that little hole here. And as I am pouring, I am pushing down. I am pouring and pushing. And you're gonna get about halfway through with your soil. And what I suggest is taking off your tights, taking your chia pet out, and kind of giving it a little bounce. So all those seeds and soil go all the way down to the bottom. I also suggest pushing down on the bottom to make more of a round kind of shape, and then doing the same thing again and putting it around your cup so you can add in the rest of your soil. All right, now that I've got most of my soil inside of my hose, I'm going to be once again lifting that hose off the edge. Doing this bouncing motion once again, pushing down on the bottom and pulling on the top of my hose now. So I really want this material to be stretched tight around the soil so that the holes are more prominent so your seeds can easily grow through so you can have a very hairy chia pet. Okay, stretching and pulling as I go. And you should have a good amount of fabric here at the top now. Okay. Don't worry if it's not the shape if it's not a perfect circle yet. You can reshape it once you're done tying. So now we're gonna tie it off like a balloon, and what we're gonna be doing is you're taking 2 fingers, bringing it down to the bottom here, wrapping around, and see how I have space in between my 2 fingers? I am just pushing this fabric through that hole and tightening the knot. Ta-da! So it should look like that, a little sack. And so you can shape it the way that you want now, make it into the ball that you want, and cutting off that extra fabric. I'm making sure my knot is tight, and then cutting very close down to the bottom. But don't worry if it's long, or if you want to keep it long, you want to make sure you actually do cut off this extra piece, because the bottom where the knot is where the roots are going to grow. Okay, so now that we have our perfect little ball, we can move on to the best part, I think, of making a chia pet, the decorating. So if you have a bowl already ready to go, you can use your bowl now, or if you don't have a shallow bowl like this, you can make your own by taking a plastic cup and cutting it around close to the bottom here, just like that. So we can speed past this part. All right, I got my cup cut in half, my makeshift bowl, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take some seed. I guess when you have the cup like this, you don't really need rocks because it should be a little bit elevated off the bottom. You see how there's still space on the bottom? But if you're using a shallow bowl, I suggest putting some rocks in there. And whenever you're planting anything, you always want to make sure that you have rocks or bark or anything that'll give you space in between your dirt or your chia pet and the bottom of your potter so that the water has space to drip out. Because if you don't have your rocks there, there's a chance of your chia pet getting a little bit moldy. Okay, you really want good drainage. So now that I have my chia pet ready to go on my bowl, I'm going to start thinking about what I want to make my decoration look like. There's lots of different ways. This part's really up to you. I'm gonna go with making probably like a little bear today. So if you wanted to make some ears, what I suggest doing is taking your pipe cleaners, folding it in half, cutting in the middle. And all you're gonna do if you're wanting to use pipe cleaners as decoration is they have a perfect little wire to push through your hose. So for the ears, super easy. You're just pushing through that fabric. And then doing the same thing on the other side. All right, so now I got my ears ready to go, just like that. And as I'm decorating, I'm keeping in mind that grass is going to be growing through this top area and throughout the whole other parts of your chia pet. So make sure you don't decorate your chia too much or there won't be space for the grass to grow. Now for the mouth, I'm just going to be taking my pipe cleaner once again, folding it in half, and an easy way to make a little animal mouth, I suggest is taking the top V point of your pipe cleaner and just start kind of curling it down so you get a little bit of a nose shape. Okay, so I'm twisting and curling down, kind of spiraling it down, making sure those ends are even. And then I am pulling that nose back up, twisting it around to making sure that it's sturdy, and then just kind of curling up those edges, just like that. You could also use this mouth for any other animal. I used it for my kitty mouth as well. So it's looking a little bit long, right? So I'm gonna just shrink down my edges, cut down my mouth. All right, and now, since you want it flat on your Chia Pet, now is when your glue comes in handy. So now you can use your Elmer's or your hot glue. I'm using hot glue, like I said before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my decoration, I'm gonna add a little bit onto the nose, around the mouth, and just adding that onto my hair now. All right, it should look a little bit something like this now. His mouth is a little wonky, but that's okay. I kind of like my animals to look a little bit wonky. So now for my eyes, I've got some googly eyes. You can also use buttons or pom-poms, whatever you have available. I'm gonna make 2 little dots. My second eye, okay. All right, and this is a simple little bear here now that I have. And so now for just how to take care of your Chia Pet is super simple. Every single morning when you wake up, make it a part of your routine to go say hello to your Chia Pet, give him a little pat on the head, say hello, and give him some water, okay? So you're gonna give him about 1 cup of water every day, just on the tops of his head, and that water should drain throughout the rest of his body. So make sure not to overwater these guys. They really do keep their water because of the cloth around it. Make sure you have those rocks for drainage, and keep these guys in the sunlight because they are going to grow fast too, and a lot. They are going to be very, very hairy. But there you have it. You have your Chia Pet. I'd love to see your Chia Pet too. So make sure to post photos online and tag us at the Ed Asner Family Center, and because I'd love to see your work. Also, as your grass grows, make sure to give it a little bit of a haircut too, so you can keep your Chia Pet for as long as you want. All right, well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you join us again next Saturday for crafting with me, and thank you so much. Goodbye!